In this episode, we talk about capping your AMRAPS. Welcome to episode 25 of AskTheLJs. I'm Luke.
I'm Lawrence.
And today, we're talking about
What are we talking
AMRAPS.
about? AMRAPS.
Capping them.
Like-
Frequency.
What?
So basically, this is a follow-on from our previous ones with our SPS Academy students. There's some highlighting. I put a post up in there saying, I need help with, and they basically asked us questions, and we gave them feedback already. But we wanted to, again, just for you guys which aren't in the academy and you can't
Share
see
the
the
love.
group. Yeah, exactly. Share it. Share the love, share the knowledge. So this one's from Sivan. Shout out.
Shout out to Sivan.
And the question was, he has a client, a female client, online. So we've got to take that into account,
Yeah.
obviously. She's really strong and wants to push it all the time. So one of those, I want to train, I want to go.
Yep.
Asked to, well, what was it? Not asked to grass.
Balls to the wall.
That's it. I knew it had some anatomy.
Anatomical reference.
Hitting something.
I don't know what the female equivalent
Yeah.
would be. Let's leave
forget
that for now.
yeah.
We'll go
So
balls to the
Sivan
wall.
said after a long time of educating her about her limits, recovery, they're in a better place. So good start with that. You've addressed an issue and you've overcome that through discussion and education. She's in a powerlifting based program but wants to push even more some days. Says, frankly, I'm not sure how to make her feel like she's working harder. This is the thing. She did an AMRAP set on squat and she hit 24. So in a powerlifting based program, hitting 24 on an AMRAP set. And if you don't know what AMRAP set is, it's as many reps as possible on that sort of the final set and seeing what you get. So hit 24, so a big thing. I know it a bit out of context, but the main thing is how much can we push our clients or at least make them feel like they're putting the work in. So my response was to actually have a cap on the AMRAP set. So if you're programming it and you want to cap it because again, you might say, right, say they've been working at around maybe a 4 or 5 repetition max range. You might say, right, I want to cap the AMRAP to an 8 if you wanted to.
8 to 10.
Would you be happy with that?
Yeah.
Lawrence happy with that? I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
So my thing would be putting a cap on it so that person knows that they've stopped it there and to record their RPE as well. So if your client hit 10 reps and they said, right, it was an RPE of 6 or 7, then again, the hard thing about online coaching is that unless you're having that weekly interaction updates, getting them to fill in their tracking forms on their training plan, you may get to the end of that mesocycle and then you get that message from your client saying, I just hit 24 reps on an AMRAP set. Then what we need to look at is, okay, maybe if you've prescribed a specific weight, now you've got that data and you now know that that weight they've been lifting is obviously not sufficient enough. Because hitting 24 on an AMRAP set, when you're trying to be in a powerlifting based program, is obviously not the thing to do. So that's why the importance, especially with online clients, is that they do track their numbers and their RPE.
Yep.
So it means we can give feedback and say, okay, you hit that, I think let's up it 10 kg. I think you're being a bit too reserved there. And the AMRAPs obviously demonstrated that by hitting 24 reps. Another thing to do, obviously she loves to lift and I just said increase her training frequency. Get her in the gym more often. If some clients want to train more, then it just means you're programming, rather than giving her 3 sessions a week or 4 sessions a week, you can give her 5 or 6 sessions a week. You can even give her 7 sessions. You just got to be smart with the programming, adjust the volume.
Yep.
So now she's going in the gym more times per week. She's going to feel like she's getting more out of it. So you're helping sort of please her. She likes being in the gym. But yeah, so that's what I've got to say about AMRAPs and the powerlifting. If they want to be in the gym, let them be in the gym. It'll just shorten the time they're in the gym as well.
Absolutely. So my input on this one would be, it sounds like I'm going to assume that Sivan hasn't prescribed her an AMRAP set at like 40% of her 1 rep max.
Because that's pretty much what it is.
Which is, that's the only, well, for a more experienced lifter, that's the context in which a lifter might be hitting kind of 20 plus 24 reps. So at this point, what we've got to take into account is that her 1 rep max, because she sounds like she's probably relatively inexperienced, isn't going to be a true 1 rep max, because the less experienced the lifter is, the less likely they're able, the less able they are to kind of grind out a 1 rep max. It'll be kind of, they'll hit a weight, maybe let's say they hit like a 50 kilogram squat for 5 reps, maybe like a 52.5 kilo squat for 4 reps, and then they will fail a 55 kilo squat or a 57 kilo squat, somewhere around there, purely because they don't have the technical proficiency or the skill to perform a 1 rep max in the way that a more experienced lifter would. So for example, a powerlifter at a competition may open his squat with 200 kilos, then may go to 210, 215 for his second attempt, then may finish up at kind of 225, 230. So there's a big 15 kilo jumps. So to that end, she may be able to do a lot more reps with a particular percentage of her 1 rep max than a more experienced lifter, purely because that 1 rep max is not what she's kind of, I don't want to say not what she's capable of lifting, because that's all she's capable of lifting, but she's going to be able to do a lot more reps with the same percentage of 1 rep max. So to that end, if you are programming based off a 1 rep max for a less experienced lifter, that's something to bear in mind, and either don't use a percentage 1 rep max, or be very kind of flexible in which percentage of 1 rep max you use. So that's the first thing I said. The second thing is the AMRAP set cap is a really, really good idea. The other thing you could do is to put the AMRAP set at the end of a much larger number of sets. So maybe do 4 or 5 working sets before you hit the AMRAP set, at which point she may get fewer reps on the AMRAP set because she's fatigued. You've spent time practicing a skill that's a bit more specific to powerlifting, because you've done maybe 5 sets of kind of 4 to 6 reps, which is going to be much more specific to a 1 rep max than 1 set of 24 reps. And yeah, like Luke said, put a cap on it and put the RPE on it. If you put a cap on it as well, then what that may do psychologically is make her feel really, really good because she's hit the target that you've set, as opposed to you saying, right, do an AMRAP set. If she wants to make you as a coach feel really proud, she will go, like, by the sounds of it, completely, as we said, balls to the wall to get as many reps as she possibly can. However, if you say do an AMRAP set, we're going to cap it at 10, then she will likely be quite happy about hitting that 10 reps. Yeah, she may well have been able to do more, but that was the expectation you set. If you again, you can phrase it such that you say to her, look, let's cap it at 10. Let's see if you can do that. And she absolutely smashes it at like a 6 or 7 RPE for that 10 reps. Then again, that's going to make her feel really good, because you phrased it in such a way that you weren't sure she was going to be able to get it, but you knew she could, and she smashed it. So again, she's exceeding your expectations on that front. With regards to the training frequency thing, again, I think that's a great idea. But with giving someone like that more training sessions, you were going to have to drop the average intensity of some of the sessions, and drop the average effort that they put in. And if they like going balls to the wall all the time, that may be something that they really, really struggle with doing, like power sessions or kind of technique type sessions. They may really struggle with not feeling like they've worked very hard. So to that end, you can either get around that by doing fewer sessions, but again, making them much more intense per session, or maybe doing, picking effective kind of finishes for the session. So maybe doing some real kind of isolation work finishes which aren't going to affect the rest of her training week all that much, but are going to make her feel like she's worked really hard, like she's achieved something. It's a lot harder to do that online than in person. So you do have to kind of take that into account. But yeah, I think those are solid suggestions. So
I think the key thing is the online thing as well, and that's why you need to get your online clients to record themselves. Because, again, especially with RP, and there's research papers out there at the moment, I think Helms is doing some as well, as where a more advanced lifter would say that's a 9 RPE. Like, even when you see Dr. Mike Zudos in the academy group and he live streams his squat session, and he's like, yeah, that's a 9 RPE. And like, he's grind, like, where a beginner, because it's something new to them, they may say it's a 9 and it's not really a 9. They could probably get another 2 or 3 reps out. So again, you've got to take that into account, especially if it's online. If you're just seeing a spreadsheet and you're seeing a weight and they've just put down a 9 RPE, obviously for this case, it probably wasn't a 9 RPE for that weight.
What I will say with that as well, especially for higher rep sets, it's much harder to gauge RPE, because especially for something like a squat, once you start getting past, for most people, kind of between 10 and 15 reps, it's not your legs that's going to be the limiting factor. For a lot of people, it's going to be like just something psychological or cardiovascular system or your upper back or something like that. So I think especially with regards to like the cardiovascular stuff, I think that a lot of people can hit many more reps than they feel they can at a much lighter weight, because their legs are fine, but by the time they get to that, they're just completely gassed out. They can do more reps, or they would be able to, but they tend to need kind of 5-10 seconds break between reps to get them out. So beginners, I think, will use an RPE on basically a scale of 1 to 10 in how hard was that. So someone who is completely gassed after like a 15 rep set of squats, they'll say, yeah, that was a 9, even though they probably could have done another like 3, 4, 5 reps if they took a few seconds between reps, did some breathing, stuff like that, purely because they felt really gassed, it was really hard. Whereas a more experienced lifter is much more able to gauge, no, I had 1 more rep left, that's a 9. So with less experienced lifters, just make sure that they are gauging it properly, or if it's possible to get them to film themselves, that would really help you, because you can look at bar speed, you can look at things like that to help gauge. And again,
are they actually squatting to full depth, or is it 24 baby reps?
There was a really interesting paper again done by, I think it was Helms and Zordos collaborated on it, looking at the relationship between bar speed and RPE. That was published really recently, so that's well worth reading as well. And again, another thing that video allows you to do is just to see how good the reps were. Because yeah, she may have got 24 reps, but she may not have been hitting depth after 10. She may have been done 10 full reps and then 14 quarter squats. You don't know unless you have that video feedback. So yeah, in an online capacity, it's really, really important to get as much data as possible from the client. So yeah.
Cheers for listening, and remember, up here, if you are in or around London, we've got the 3DMJ conference, July the 2nd. The second day's sold out within hours.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, it's £69. I'm just going to tell them straight. If you're Team SBS or 3DMJ member, it's £49 for the day. But again, the guys at Helms, I know all of them program for powerlifters as well. Yeah. So they're going to be touching base on like programming, etc. And it'll be good to see you there. It's going to be down the bridge, Stamford Bridge.
Chelsea Football Club.
I'm a Chelsea fan, so it's win-win. He's obviously not. Who is it, Man City?
Yeah.
Well, that lasted long, innit? A couple of seasons, and then...
Pep's coming in this season.
Oh, Pepe.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, so check it out, guys. shreddedbyscience.com/3DMJ. We'll speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon.